So how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Technical issues as always. I'm on a
Always. It's okay.
computer. Oh, okay. Yeah. I have done these interviews through Zoom before, but then it's a pain in the
hmm
butt to get them to upload. So I
Yes,
try
I
not to do
agree.
that.
I agree. Well, this is
So
fun.
so tell us a little bit about you. What got you started, why you wanted to be a female entrepreneur for those who don't know you or haven't followed you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, whew, I got started a long time ago. I always joke that I've always had a like an entrepreneurial tinge or something like that. I don't know. But whenever I was 10, Um, I used to every year, or starting when I was 10 at Halloween, every time I would get candy, we lived in this tiny little apartment complex. Um, I would sell it to the neighbors. It was so funny because these kids would just come knock on my door that I've never like played with or anything before. And my mom would just send them up to my room and I would like lay out all the candy and be like, take your poison. So my life could have taken a really bad turn. Uh, but it didn't.
That's
Thank the
awesome.
Lord. I was the local candy dealer. Um, but anyway, so that's like, I just always like to make money. And I mean, when I was 15, before I could like legally get a job, I would work with my great aunt who had her own business at home. And I just thought it was so cool. I was like, so you just work at home all day? Like you just stay in your jammies and go to your office? And she was like, yeah. And so I would do things for her, but I just loved making money. Like anytime I could make money, I wanted to. And so that's what I did throughout high school. I opened my first Etsy shop when I was like a freshman in high school. Now, granted, I didn't know anything about anything. I
Right.
just knew that I could make cute stuff. And so I always like to say I was on Etsy before it was cool. Because it's true. I wasn't any good at it, but yeah, so
We all start somewhere.
yes, right. But I did that for a while and dabbled in blogging in college, but it was always just that limiting belief that who's going to listen to me or who,
Hmm.
who cares what I have to say, and so nothing ever really stuck until I had my first child. And again, I wasn't planning on being a stay-at-home mom. I was like, I don't have time for that. I like to work. I like to make money. And so it's very cliche, but the day he was born, I was like, oh God, I can't go back to work. Are you kidding me? I can't leave this little precious bundle.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of it had to do with the struggle with postpartum depression. I was very scared that things were going to happen to him, and I just couldn't let him out of my sight. Um, but I'm grateful for that because it started this whole journey of, okay, now it's not just like making money for fun. Now it's like, we did not plan on this. We did not plan on me staying home. So we have to figure out like what I'm going to do. And I'm so thankful that my husband was so supportive. He was like, whatever you want to do, I don't care. Like, he did not even bat an eyelash when I said I'm not going back to work. He didn't bat an eyelash whenever I said I wanted to start my business. He
And that's
batted
so
a couple of,
helpful.
yeah, he batted an eyelash a time or two through all of the investment that's gone into it. But he has always been so encouraging. And so, yeah, that's how this started. And it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of figuring out what running a business is from somebody that was a college dropout that had no idea anything about running a successful business. And so it's just laughable to me now that I am a business coach, that I help moms where I was figure out how to navigate that with as few bumps in the road as possible.
Yeah.
Um, so that's my story in a nutshell. There's a lot more. We would be here for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, and there's always someone who
Yeah,
is one or 50 steps behind you that you can help and pull
absolutely.
forward and help them transition and not make the mistakes you made, you know,
Absolutely.
even if you aren't where you want to be at this moment.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. That was a huge thing for me to learn too, is
hmm
that whenever, my coaching started out of just friends asking me. They were like, I see that you have this business. I really want to make some money from home. So I was just wondering if you could give me some tips. And I would be like, yeah, tell me about your why. Tell me about all this stuff.
Hmm.
And I would become obsessed with their business, and they
Yeah.
didn't really even care that much. Like, they just wanted some side cash. And so I would message them like a month later, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm just like, what? It would like literally break my heart.
Yeah.
And so I just knew that there was something there. But yeah, at first I was like, who can I help? I'm not even close to where I want to be. Um, but you learn as entrepreneurs, if you're a true entrepreneur, you're never close to where you want to be. You
Mm-mm.
always have your sights
Mhm.
set way further. So that's the thing. Like, as soon as you reach a new level, you're like on to the next thing. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like you said, you've got to know that you can help somebody. There's always somebody that you can help and support.
And as a coach, you can't want it more than they do.
Absolutely not. Oh,
They've got
yes,
to
and
be
it kills
willing to
me.
put the time in, Um, so there's a difference between
hmm
just doing a side hustle and, obviously being a full-time entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So that is
Absolutely.
kind of a hard thing to navigate sometimes, I'm
Yes.
sure, when
hmm
you're working with clients. Um,
Absolutely. We get lots of calls. Well, because mom boss is a huge thing. Mom boss, mompreneur, all
mhm,
of this stuff that, I'm trying to kind of separate myself from, while still saying, I mean, I want people to know that I do work with moms. I feel
mhm,
like that is a specialty of mine. I mean, the business and the tactics that I teach are applicable to anybody, males, females, young, old. It's just
mhm.
business. But me as a person, my brand, my heart is with moms, and especially those moms that are like, oh, what do I do with this baby and this new lots of time at home?
Yeah.
Um, and so that's my heart. But whenever you throw out the mom boss or the mompreneur, you get lots of people that are not very serious at all. Lots of
Mhm.
people that want something quick, with minimal work and all this, stuff that's just a pipe dream, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So,
not a possibility, you know.
no.
Yeah. No, there are some people I guess I should take that back, that are successful and it seems to, just happen very quickly for them. But for the most
Right.
part, the journey is, a lot more than just a month,
There's
you
a
know.
lot underneath it. And there's a lot that we
Mhm.
don't see watching people
Mhm.
on social media. I think social media has really created this crazy expectation in all aspects of our
Mhm.
life, but even in business. Because as business owners, we're naturally going to want to only put the good stuff out there, the wins and stuff. So for every win, you have to know that there was like at least 10 fall flat on your face failures.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so
Or
it's hard
blood,
to keep
sweat,
that
and
in
tears
perspective.
that
Yes,
that
lots
got
of
to that,
tears. Lots of tears.
Waking up one morning going, I can't do this anymore, to,
Oh
later that
yeah,
afternoon being, hey, I'm
I know.
queen.
Yes, I remember laying in bed one time. This is actually a joke now. I was so, oh my gosh, I was so upset just about probably one person said no to me. Like, so regardless all of the wins that I've had,
Hmm.
you know how it is, like
Uh-huh.
one bad thing happens and you're like, oh, this is disaster. So anyways, I'm like laying in bed crying, just sobbing, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't, you know how it is. And my
Yeah.
husband's like, you don't have to do any of this. And I was like, are you crazy? Shut up. I have to do this. This is my job and I love it. I'm just being dramatic right now. Chill.
Let me have my moment.
I know, it's so funny. He was like, you don't have to. It's okay. He's like being so supportive. He's always so supportive. And I'm like, shut up.
Just let me have this for 1 second. Just leave me alone.
Oh, poor guy. He tries to keep up.
Oh.
Good stuff.
So how long, obviously you started as a young child, and I'm never going to
hmm
forget that candy dealer. So just so you know,
If you need candy, I've got the hookup.
that is going to stick with me now forever, every time I see you. Um,
Great.
it's cute. It's funny.
I
Um,
love it.
when did you start this particular aspect of your business, the mompreneur coaching? And has that been a fairly recent
So the
switch?
mompreneur coaching, it started about, Gosh, this is crazy. It's been almost 3 years that it has kind of budded, but in that time, there was so much resistance for me because, again, I was like, I have no idea what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, no clue. And I can't help anybody. I didn't realize that all of these failures that I was having were, you know, they were tools that I could use to tell people, okay, this is what you don't do, or
Yeah.
this is how you do it better. All I could see was my failure. I couldn't see any success. And so there was a ton of resistance leading up to that for about a year. And then I started talking to people about it. I would tell like a close friend, I think I'm going to like start helping moms, or at least just using my Facebook page to encourage moms. And I would kind of like say it to people and then like feel out what they were saying because I was heavily influenced by the opinions of others, which is ridiculous.
We all
But
are.
anyway, so
Yeah.
right, it was just not good the way that I was trying to get that validation from everybody else when this was clearly what I was made to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so we've really revved up and made coaching my complete focus starting in 2018. So it's been a full
Okay.
year that I have, set like put all the other things aside. I retired as a photographer, which was the business that actually took off for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I love all of the other things that I've done, but this is like the thing I don't get tired of. This is the thing I could talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where I found like, hey, this is my purpose. This is what I was put here for. Photography's fun. I love it. Still have my camera.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just a different kind of high. So it's been about a year, and we're so excited of what this year is going to bring us to.
Yes, it will be an amazing year
Yes,
for
for all of
everyone.
us.
Yes, yes, it will. But it is so funny because we so often hold our own selves back. I know I
Oh,
currently
yeah,
am the only thing holding me back, from doing
absolutely.
what I'm, trying to accomplish. But in your coaching, then, do you do mindset work, and do you have certain things that you recommend for your clients to do to help them overcome those mental blocks?
Absolutely. So, yes, I did. I actually just recorded a new mindset training yesterday for my clients. Mindset is so important. Understanding your purpose, understanding, I like to call it your what. I know everybody
Mm-hmm.
talks about your why, but your what you stand for, and what you want to, how you want to articulate that to everybody else. Like that is the most important thing, not your
Mm-hmm.
logo, not your brand, not your product or your service or your
Mm-hmm.
skill. It is how you relate to others and how relate back to yourself in your brand. We're in an age where business is dying and brand is everything. Like people want that personal aspect. And so that's what I coach on. And it starts with mindset. It starts with, I always say, if you can't, like, you're the first person you have to convince that you're going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you can't wait to validate it. You can't ask your friend if it's a good idea and then be like, okay, she said it, so it's a good idea. I'm going to be successful because she said it. Like you have to convince yourself that it's going to be a great, fantastic idea, and that, no matter the obstacles, you're going to overcome them. And you just have to have faith in that. And so, yeah, one of my favorite exercises of all time, I do it all the time. Anytime my clients are going through something, I'm like, stop, we're doing the exercise. They know, they roll their eyes. But and this is an age-old coaching thing. I wish I came up with it, but I didn't. I've created my own like strategy around it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pulled from a bunch of different things that have just been used over and over and over again because they're so awesome. So it's, first of all, the step one would be calling out your fears, your hesitations, any kind of obstacle that you see in your way. So actually taking a piece of paper and writing down the things that you're afraid of and just being honest, because honesty is key. If you're not going to be honest with yourself, you may as well not do the exercise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But just so if it's something like, say, you feel like you don't know enough, you can just write, I don't know enough to be successful. And just stuff like that. And then writing it all down until you've got it all out, everything's off your chest, and then going and doing the rewriting your stories exercise, which I don't know, you probably have heard of this, but it's where you go through and you read through each one of those fears and you rewrite them. You change the story and tell yourself, if you think that you don't know enough to do this, I do know enough to start, and I can always learn more. Like, that's your new story. And you cross out the old story, like literally just scribble it out. I feel like I'm just beating it up because I'm just like, you're awful.
Yeah.
But anyways, just having that new story, because the thing is people usually look at it backwards. I'm about to cough. I'm sorry.
You're okay. I've got allergies going on right now too, so.
I know, it's Texas. But people think like, they'll think, oh, I can't do this. And then they're not able to do it. And they're like, oh, I knew I couldn't do it. No, it's because you told yourself you couldn't do it. You set yourself up for failure. You shouldn't have even tried if that's going to be how you're going to approach it. If you start telling yourself, I can do this, you will do it. Maybe not the first time, but you're going to do it. And so that's why we have to train ourselves first to change the story. We have to be the first person that we convince. So that's my favorite exercise, is just doing that. Calling out your fears and rewriting your story. And just those two steps alone are, incredible ways to move past some of this stuff. And I have to do them sometimes like several times in a week, especially whenever there's a lot going on in my business. So it's one of those things that it's not a one and done. You've got to do it, and you've got to keep doing it. And, but it's a great strategy. Oh.
It's like everything, just doing it once doesn't necessarily, and maybe, something you can clear one time, but more often than not, it's something that's going to continue to come up, maybe not even in the same week, but within our journeys, those same things pop up for us. So, I know a lot of the professional speakers, and like Tony Robbins, and I don't know if you know who Manifestation Babe is, but they all same thing. Basically
law of attraction.
Write it down and rewrite it, because even if we don't believe it at the moment, just rephrasing it and reframing it in our own mind will help us get past it. So that's one of the techniques that I absolutely love. So that's a great thing to have in your coaching. A great thing to work on, because like you said, if you can't get past your own blocks, then you are going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just going to happen, because that's what you believe to be true.
Right.
And law of attraction says what you believe is what's going to happen. So
it's true.
So what is one thing that you use in your business that you absolutely could not do your business without? This could be software, this could be a journal, this could be that one thing for you that helps everything run more smoothly.
Oh, man.
I know, that's tough.
There are a lot of systems in place. So I'm gonna say two. I'm gonna say now what mine is, and then something that it was in the very beginning. Because, and you'll see why. So now mine is my virtual assistant, which you've had the pleasure of working with. She's awesome.
Sweet. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She's sweet.
I could not do half of the stuff. I mean, my business grew exponentially this year, and it's because we were able to work exponentially. I mean, there are times where I just get so overwhelmed, and I can just like type out this long email to her, and she's like, okay. And she's such a systems person too. I'm very much a right brain. She's a left brain. And so it's the perfect match. But she is just like, okay, so all of that craziness, let's start here. She's like, well, we'll deal with this. But it's more like having somebody that is on your team. Like, she's my fan. She's, promoting me to her friends that she feels like would benefit from it. She's helping me. Anything that I cannot wrap my head around, I don't feel like my time is best used to do this, I can give it to her. Like, all of that tedious stuff, designing emails and stuff like that, all I have to do is write like a Google Doc with the content, the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just makes it pretty. Like she makes it where it's appealing to people. So I can deal with the creative stuff and she can deal with design is kind of creative, but
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
important stuff that I have to do myself. She can't write an email for me because that would be her.
Yeah.
That would be her brand, not me.
Yeah.
But she can do all the stuff that my time is not best spent. And so that's one of those things where if my business was tanking and we couldn't afford anything, we would afford her.
Gotcha.
Because she just it's been crazy. But on the flip side, there was a long time where I could not afford
Mm-hmm.
to invest that kind of money in the help. And I wish I would have realized how much money I would get in return, because I probably would have found a way to afford it earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so something that you can get no matter what is a journal. And a journal has been a huge deal for me, because anytime there is an idea, anytime there is mindset blocks, anything, I can just pull out my journal and just write it down. And I
Mm-hmm.
like to have the same journal and work through it until I'm done with it. And then I save them because I'm weird, and I'll probably never look back through them because I'm an emotional person. I don't like to cry. And
Yeah.
so I'll know, like, as soon as I bust it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. But it's just kind of like, it's a piece of me. Like, my
Yeah.
business was built between the, covers of this journal. And so just having a place that's yours where you can house all of your ideas. Yes, we have the cloud, and yes, we
Mm-hmm.
have Google Drive, but honestly, I'm such a pen and paper gal. I think there's something so authentic about just handwriting, like the things that are on your heart on pieces of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And that has just been such a great thing. So you can go to TJ Maxx or Michael's, pick one up for $4.99. They have the cutest journals.
Yeah.
They have some of the best journals, and this is not an ad. I wish that they would pick me up as an influencer, but I love them, and
Yeah.
that's where I get all of my journals, and they're so motivating and they're great. So journal would be a big thing to have.
Okay. So journals when you're throughout your entire business.
When you're poor, yes.
But
Yes,
when you can't
keep
get
those
a
journals.
VA, and you mentioned systems too, having the
A
systems.
morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
A morning routine is huge. Journaling is a part of my morning routine. And that was something that I resented for a long time, or resisted for a long time, because I was like, I don't want to wake up. I'm not a morning person. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I own my own business. Like, I can do whatever I want, and 5 a.m. is not what I want.
Yeah.
And so, but once I did finally have a morning routine, and I started waking up religiously at 5 a.m., whether I'm going to the gym or whether I'm just staying home and journaling, and sipping coffee, just spending that time with myself has transformed my mood towards my children, towards my husband, towards my business, like everything. And so just having those systems, there is so much you can do to work in your favor for your business when you're in a place where you can't afford things.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuse. I mean, online, there's a wealth of free information. And you can always be learning. And so there is so much. I don't ever want anybody to get in the place where they're like, I can't afford to invest in a business. I'm like, if you can't afford to invest monetarily, you better find some time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to invest your time.
You're going to invest your time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're continually needing to learn and better ourselves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you aren't running a business, just in general as a human being, there's things that we can always improve upon. So that needs to be somebody, whether they are running a business or not,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people contribute their morning routine to getting in the right frame of mind before they start doing anything. That's your time
Absolutely.
to write in your journal. That's your time to be grateful. That's your time to make a plan for the day.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm trying to incorporate a morning routine. I am not a morning person, never have been. Had to get up at 5 a.m. for years and years and years to have the kids ready to go to school, to go to work.
Yeah.
So, so I'm with you on that, not a morning person.
I have a very a mentor that I love dearly, and she just put something out there the other day saying that morning routines are crap. Which is I loved her perspective, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work for everybody. I'm not ever going to say that everything works for everybody.
Mm-mm.
And so she tried and tried and tried morning routines, and she found that nighttime routines were better for her, that
Mm-hmm.
working in the late night was better for her. Which she's in a different stage of life than me anyways.
Yeah.
And so I thought that that was really cool too. I think self-awareness is so key. And if you can't do the morning routine that everyone's doing, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing either. I think as
Mm-hmm.
long as you have a system and a routine that you do at some point in the day, especially if it's a start or end of your day, is so important. Um,
Yes.
I personally just knew that my kids coming and waking me up in the morning was is not good, that because I don't like to be woke up.
Yeah.
And so I would start my day mad at them for just wanting to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was not good. And that's why I kind of told myself, I'm like, you have to be a morning person.
Yeah.
Welcome to your new life.
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And everyone is in different stages or
Hmm.
seasons of their life.
Hmm.
You have small children, mine are grown, you know, so
Hmm.
I don't necessarily have
Sleep in,
to.
girl.
Yeah, and I do. This is my early for me,
Yeah.
because I usually, you know, I don't get up at 5. I don't get up at 6. I'm not getting up at 7. Usually wake up around
Thanks.
8. You know, get my coffee, let the
Yep.
dogs out,
That's
you know,
awesome.
and get my day started. But
Hmm.
I've been where you are.
Hmm.
You know, I've had the small children, and you have to do things differently when you have small children, which is why I think it's so wonderful that, you know, you choose to work with the women who are in that season, you know, that are in that stage. Because when I was in that stage, it would have been so helpful to have someone, you know, such as yourself saying, okay, you know, I can do it, you can do it, you know, and here's what's worked for me, here's what didn't work for me, you know,
Hmm.
and no two people are the same, and no two things are going to work the same for anyone. So no,
Right.
so just realizing that and knowing that you do need to be a little more self-aware
Right.
of what's going to go for you. So what do you have going on right now? What are you working on currently?
Loaded question.
It is a loaded question, because I'm sure you have 50 million things like all the rest of us do.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Well, we've actually been focused. I've been trying to do this year, my word is more.
mhm.
Which whenever you hear it, you think like, oh, more, she's gonna be doing more. But actually, I've been wanting to give more of myself to different areas and cut back on the ones that are not effective. So instead of throwing more on my plate, I'm giving more of myself to the important areas and then cutting out the rest of stuff. So we're actually trying to work on one thing at a time, um, which is hard. I didn't realize
Mhm.
how hard it was going to be
Mhm.
to rein down myself. But this week has been crazy wild because we're getting ready to launch a brand new course tonight.
Huh.
And yeah, and we're also doing like a live free masterclass to kick it off tonight. And so we've been working like crazy to build it up, but it's all about that first like foundational part of building a business, which is the mindset that we were talking about,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the self-discovery and just figuring out how it is that you were meant to serve in this world. So, you know, the things that you're amazing at and the things you're passionate about, the things that you stand for, and how to really create a brand from that, a brand that can scale and that can have, you know, multiple facets and that can truly make you money and be profitable. And so you don't have to worry about working on one business at a time or being like boxing yourself into a corner where you can only do one thing because you just have this business that it only makes sense for you to do one thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so really driving home the value of having a brand over a business. But in the masterclass tonight, we're going to be going over the 3 steps which is hilarious because I've been advertising it as the 4 steps. Whenever I first wrote this out, I was like, it's going to be 4 steps. And then I went back and realized, you know what, that 4th step is a little, we don't need that 4th step. It's not important. I really try to only give, especially because I work with moms, that only give the steps that are super important
Yes.
to getting where you need to go, because we don't have time to do a bunch of extra steps. So
No.
anyways, I took out the 3rd step like very in the beginning, but I forgot to change the title. So I was like, oh yeah, it's 4 steps. It's 4 steps. So I actually texted EJ last night, my assistant, way in the middle of the night. And I was like, it's only 3 steps. It just like came to me.
Oh.
And so anyways, yeah, it was hilarious. So it says 4 steps, but it's 3 steps. So you get a bonus step that's not there. And I know, isn't it usually the other way around? You get a bonus step.
Yeah.
But mine, we like to take things away from you. So
I've been through it. It's
anyway,
not, you're not taking anything away. You leave it all on the table.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And so yes, that will be launching live tonight. It's the 3 steps, 3 critical steps to get you unstuck out of your business. So like at the end of it, you're going to be able to get out of that rut where you're just sitting there with your notebook, your journal full of ideas, and you're like, where do I go?
Yes.
What do I do first? So I'm going to be helping these moms move through that tonight, and I'm super excited. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
So yeah.
And we're going to put that link below the video
Yes.
so that everyone can come join.
Oh, great.
And,
yes, come hang out.
And hang out with you and get some of your knowledge and help them move forward in their businesses.
Yeah, we'll laugh a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
I like to laugh.
Yeah.
So.
You got to laugh.
We're going to laugh at the very beginning about the fact that there's not 4 steps. I can't wait for that conversation.
I mean, you explained it beautifully. You want to cut it down to what you absolutely need. No extra steps. You know, people are busy. You have lives. You have kids. You have husbands. You have, there's other things going on than just your business. So you need to cut to what's actually going to be the most effective. So.
Right.
So you explained it
well.
well.
I'm a rule breaker too. I'm a rule breaker. This particular style of training is supposed to be 4, but I was like, I don't have 4. Sorry, this is stretching it. I don't have 4.
Yeah, well,
so
don't
I
need
took
4.
it out. I like being a rule breaker.
Well, and in some things, odd numbers actually work better than evens. So
that's true. That's true.
You're a little ahead of the game there, being a rule breaker on that. So.
Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. Well, it has been awesome having you on. I don't want to keep you too long. You do have stuff to do, and you do have that to get ready for tonight. And I'm sure, kiddos are probably wondering where mom is. So
our sitter is actually here today. Our sitter's here, so they don't care about mom today.
Oh,
we have an awesome babysitter. That's my number 2. After you get a VA, get a sitter.
Yeah.
For your mom.
Yep.
Because it helps. It helps.
It does. I love kids, and I don't mind kids, running in and out. But if you are trying to focus, that probably is,
Well,
very,
and
very
I don't feel
do.
like I can give them my attention. That was the hardest thing for me, is I felt like I was constantly somewhere else. And so being able to separate work and business and be like, this is the time that I work, and know that they are very much taken care of. Like they're just in the other room. And my sitter is phenomenal. I mean, she's awesome. She gives them attention. She's on the floor with them 24/7. They like roam around the house and look for jaguars or something like so she is awesome with them. And I'm like, you know what? She gives them attention that I couldn't give them right now if I was trying to multitask. And so there was a lot of mom guilt, because I was like, oh, I'm just giving them away. But it's not. It's great for them. So yes, it gives me time to be successful so I can put it away.
Mom guilt is terrible.
Rude. So rude.
It is rude. But yeah, we do dinosaur training in my house when my granddaughters are here.
Oh, that is awesome. My boys would love that. They love dinosaurs.
My oldest granddaughter, I have 2 granddaughters, and my oldest, I swear, is going to be a paleontologist. She's 6 and can
Does she know all the names?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, the scientific names, and if you say it wrong, you get corrected. So
Yep.
So we
Of
don't hunt
course.
jaguars; we hunt dinosaurs. But
Brontosauruses and Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
yep, and the Indominus, and
Oh my gosh.
we're
That's awesome.
Velociraptors, and they have
Hmm.
the noises down pat. So I mean, they walk around making the noise,
So it's
and
not quiet at your house, is what you're saying?
not on Fridays and
Not
Saturdays.
when they're
No,
here.
no. I get them every Friday afternoon, and they're here until Saturday night when it's time to go home and go to bed. So,
Oh my gosh,
so no, we're
that's
not. It's
funny.
not quiet. The
It's
neighbors
okay.
probably think something's wrong with us because you can hear it. It literally sounds like you're in Jurassic World movie because they sound like the velociraptors talking to each other.
That is so funny. Right.
It's
Well,
hilarious, but they love it, so whatever.
yeah.
So, but yes, it is really good to have someone who you trust who can give them
Hmm.
that time and allow you to focus your time on the business so that when you're not
Absolutely.
working on the business, you can focus on them. They can get
Yeah.
100% of mom instead of mom still trying to do 50 million things that she didn't
Hmm.
get done through the day. So that,
Absolutely.
yeah, that would
Yeah.
definitely be a big one for mothers with young children um,
Yes.
that are still at home. You know,
Hmm.
um, how old are your boys?
They are 18 months
Hmm.
and 3. So yes,
Yeah.
they are little, and they're close,
Yes.
which makes me feel
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
At first, yeah, when we got pregnant with my second one, I was like, what have we done?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
But now it's great. I feel like they just grow up together and they're doing all the same things. Like my oldest has been very reluctant to potty train, and my youngest loves sitting on the potty. So I think we're about to do it all at once.
There you go.
Both of them at the same time. So that will be interesting. It'll be a
Oh,
lot of pee and poop, but then we'll
hey.
just have it all done.
Then yeah, get it done at one time and not have to worry about doing it twice.
I bet you didn't think this was going to be the conversation.
Hey, this is life,
Y'all are hanging out with a boy mom, okay?
We're real life here. This isn't, some glamorous TV person somewhere that.
Oh, good.
No, no. Dinosaurs and pee and poop. Hey,
Yep.
and
What else do you need?
you don't need nothing else.
Coffee. You need
Yeah.
coffee.
Yes, thank you. You definitely have to have your coffee. Um, but potty training with boys, since we're on that subject, I'll cut this before it
Bonus.
goes. I'll cut this before it goes on the YouTube, and I'll cut this before it goes on the podcast. But for us here in the group, um, my son was the hardest. My two daughters, were easy for me. I
Heard
mean,
it said.
they
Well, I got
had
2 boys, so
they had
fantastic.
no trouble. My son, I don't know what it is about boys and pooping in the potty was the biggest thing. I'm like, why
They're
do you
scared
want
of
that
it.
in your pants?
I know.
You know?
I know. My oldest does it, but he just would rather play and then me change his diaper. Like, I'll
Yep.
ask him. He would do it for a whole week, and then I'd be like, all right, you ready to go on the potty? He's like, no, I just want to play. And I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. And we can't force them if they're not
Yeah,
ready. Um,
right.
it's just not going to work. So, it's like everything.
I agree.
If we're not at the point that we're ready, we're not going to do it. So, why would we
Absolutely.
expect a young child who really doesn't even know how to regulate their own emotions or environment
Right.
to do so? So, it's their timing and we
Absolutely.
just kind of got to follow along. Doesn't always work in our favor or how we want it, but it is what it is.
That's true.
Just the way it works.
Yep.
But it has been awesome talking to you. Thank you
Yeah,
so, so much for coming on.
absolutely. Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
it's
It's
wonderful
been fun.
to have you in here. And I'll leave your links underneath when I post the video so people know how to get a
Okay.
hold of you,
I
where they
think
can
EJ
find
gave you
you.
one. I think EJ gave you one, but she gave you my my old masterclass link. I mean, it's not old, it's still running, but the
Yeah.
one that's tonight
Uh-huh.
is a new one.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it will be live. There will be a new, we weren't really thinking,
Okay.
we
Hey,
were thinking that it was going to happen on the same day. So I'll drop that link underneath for you guys too.
absolutely.
And then
Yes,
for
yes.
social media.
And
So,
that way everybody can find you and they can come to your wonderful group and follow you, because I'm in there and I love it. You know, there's a lot of
thank
very, very
you.
sweet people, and you
I'm
are
so
great and
glad.
encouraging.
I'm so glad. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, yeah. She
Thanks
has
for
3
hanging out with
boys.
us.
She has 3
Oh
boys.
gosh.
Mhm.
Girl, we need to
So
talk.
she knows all about that boy life. And one of
Yes.
them is a newbie, a new little baby, and he is so cute. So yeah, you guys will have to hook up. Ashley
Yeah.
is also a doll. Absolutely love her. So you guys would get
Yay.
along
It'd be fun.
great. Well, again, thank
It'd
you
be
so
fun.
much for coming on. I will
Absolutely.
let you know exactly when this will go on the podcast, so that you can, like,
Yay.
link to it, so that your people can go and find you.
It'd be fun.
And have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Thank
And
you. You as
anyone
well.
who is watching this, absolutely get in her master class. She is gold. So
Thank
you will get some
you.
great nuggets of information in there. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.